One right now. All right, welcome Monday, December 7th. We're wrapping it up pretty soon. I believe you should have received some emails over the weekend, kind of spelling out how we're going to conclude the semester. As far as my understanding is actually, I'm going to have Friday and Monday for you to work on your review, and your final will be on Tuesday. So that's my understanding. The assignment that you're going to work on for today, Monday, and tomorrow, Tuesday, and then it'll be fully due on Thursday at 3 p.m., is your creating a budget assignment. So we gave you some information on money. I had you fill out a budget scenario. And again, that's going to play a big part here. So I can tell you right now, some of you did not really give you a lot of detail. So you're going to want to clean that up, especially as you're looking at the very first item here. Again, using that information from the Google form on the budget scenario to construct a paragraph explaining your life at 32 or 33 years old. So we're looking to go 15 years in the future from right now. And again, your big thing is you have to be able to explain what your career is and then the income for that career, and it has to be accurate, especially depending on where you're saying you're going to be living in that scenario, because that will affect the income for that particular career. Also, the housing needs to be accurate. There's a website called Zillow where if you're saying you live in Arizona, say in the Phoenix area, you can realistically go to Zillow, find some housing comps or whatever, if you're going to have a 3-bedroom house, and it's going to give you an idea of what the prices are. So the big thing here is you want to make sure that your numbers are accurate. Just quickly before I finish the instructions down here, you're going to see your rubric. I'm treating this as an assessment. So it carries some weight, and that weight is 40 points. And again, this intro paragraph, 8 points, your accuracy of your income, your housing, and then determining your net pay and your monthly budget. Those are each 5. And then how are you correctly distributing the budget line items, which I'll explain in a few minutes. All right, so again, the first thing is you've got to construct a paragraph. Take your answers and explain it out. How many kids you have? What is your career and your correct income? Are you married? What does your spouse or partner work? What is their job? What is their income? Again, what are you involved in? What toys do you have? All of this factors into how you're going to create your monthly budget. Oh boy. Let's see. Got 2. Hold on here. There it is. Let's see if it loads again. I apologize. All right. There we go. All right, so the big thing is again, you need to figure out your gross pay. So some of you already stated, like, if you're a computer engineer and you make $80,000, that's your gross pay. That is not what you're going to wind up walking away with at the end of, your pay period or at the end of the year. So you need to determine what your net pay is. So your gross pay would be that $80,000. And then your net pay would be after your deductions are accounted for. And the number we're going to go with, which can range from 20 to 33% depending on your job and your deductions, but I'm going to go with a 28% deduction, which means you would take your net pay and multiply by 0.72. All right, so I have an example here. So if you have a plumber and he makes $38 an hour, and then some of the scenarios I use is, again, you work 40 hours a week and you usually take at least a week for vacation. So when you add that all up, this is what a plumber would make as gross pay. So let me go ahead and get rid of this here. So you need to take that gross pay then, and then you multiply it by 0.72. This now gives you your net pay. This is referring to the amount of cash you have available to you. And then you divide that by 12, and then this would be the monthly budget. So you would have $4,600, $46.51 a month for a budget if this was just a plumber who was, by himself per se. Right? So again, whatever your income is, add it with if you have a partner and a spouse, and then you add those up. That's your gross, multiply by 0.72 for your net, divide by 12, and that's your monthly budget. Right? The other thing again is making sure your housing information is accurate. So it's very easy. Let's say you're going to live here in Momentum 15 years, and you're living in an apartment. Well, that's easy to find what an average 1 or 2 bedroom apartment would cost. So those are the things I'm going to be looking for to determine your final grade. All right, so what you have here now are your suggested. These are suggested ranges for budget planning. Again, not every scenario is going to utilize all categories. And you can easily, look at a budget online and come up with your own. Again, these are just suggested ranges in categories. So obviously the big one's going to be housing, and another one's going to be transportation. How are you getting around? Do you own your own car? Do you live in a city where you utilize public transportation? And even if you do that, you have to look into the cost of what it takes, for bus fares or for riding the train. Insurance is going to be a big one. Car insurance, house insurance if you own. So you got to look up some of those. Again, the recreation. What are you involved in? What are your kids involved in? Again, if your kids are in travel sports, that can cost a pretty penny depending on what sport they're in. So you got to account for that. What if your kids are younger? What about child care costs? So you got to take everything into consideration for your scenario. All right, and here's the template on page 2. Again, you can just use this, construct your paragraph based off your scenario, state what your career is. I want to know specifically what your career is. This would be the total gross income for your situation, depending on if you're married or not. And again, putting your total net income and then dividing by 12 to get your budget. And then you're going to fill out your table accordingly. And this is really where I'm going to scrutinize depending on your scenario. So if you're saying, hi, who's this? All right, can I call you back? I'm on a screen. All right, send them down. I'll be done here in a minute. All right, bye. All right, sorry about that. All right, so housing, transportation, all of your line items, then you would fill out from here into your table. So your paragraph, spell out what your budget is, put your monthly budget amount here, and then fill it out accordingly. I hope this has been clear enough for you. So you've got today and tomorrow to work on it. It is due on Thursday. We'll take a look at our last chapter on Wednesday and Thursday, review final Monday, Friday and Monday for the review, and then the final exam is on Tuesday. Always email me any questions you might have, and that'll be it. I will have this open for a few more minutes if you need anything clarified. Other than that, have a great day.